here. Okay, so I'm here for you guys to ask me any question that you might want to ask me. Because I know that you know what, more than half of our population is single. And there's a reason for it. I feel like today, women and men are stuck. Nobody knows how to date anymore. So I got together with VH1 to create the show, Why Am I Still Single? And the point of the show is not to bring people down, it's to build people up and actually look at them and figure out why they're still single. And I know I have to say, because I'm always being compared to other matchmakers, but there really isn't anybody like me. I don't compare myself to anybody, I'm a freak of nature. I'm ADD, I was married, I have 2 children, a 9-year-old gorgeous daughter Sophie and a 13-year-old boy Joshua. And I was married and living in Woodfield Country Club in Boca Raton, Florida. Okay? And I had everything that any girl would want to show her parents. A beautiful husband, a beautiful house. I had a BMW and a Mercedes and Christian Louboutins and Birkin bags to keep any girl happy. And at the end of the day, I was empty. And I said to myself, I don't understand, this is everything my mother wanted me to marry. Beautiful, Jewish, I have 2 kids. I don't understand. And when he touched me, I counted to 10 backwards and I faked every single orgasm. But thank God he gave me 2 children. Okay? I'm just being honest. And one day I turned around and I said to Mark, we are the mayoress of Boca Raton, Florida. I don't know if you guys are impressed with that because I wasn't. It's like living in a fishbowl. Katie, are you listening? So I got out of that marriage with no attorney because I always choose to look at the positive thing. I said, we have 2 beautiful kids. Let's get out of this marriage. I'm a matchmaker. I'm a dating expert. I'm a love coach. I'm a jackass. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what you call me. You go your way. I go my way. Just give me enough money for Botox. That's it. And I want to be on my way. And he's like, really? Okay. Because we really weren't meant to be soulmates. And I went out on my journey. If anybody's seen the show, in the beginning of the show, I say, I fell in love with a bald used car salesman. Well, that man over there is the love of my life, Michael. We've been together for 6 years. And the point that I'm trying to make when I make that is, when I first got divorced, I had unrealistic expectations, just like everybody else. And I said, I want to marry a man who looks like John F. Kennedy Jr. And he should come from a family like the Kennedys. And he should also be the CEO of his company. And I want him to be And guess what? At the end of the day, that's bullshit. It's all about chemistry. The richest people are the people who go to bed at night and don't have to fake their orgasms and have a foundation based on love. And their core foundation is solid. So today, everybody who's single is fucked in the head from the Millionaire Matchmaker and this one and Tough Love and they're all single at the end of the day. They all go home alone. And what I like to do is I like to give people hope that if I can do it, and I'm nothing special, there's nothing special about me. Anybody can do it. It's all about realizing that, hey, you're not in a hospital, you're not in a wheelchair, you're healthy. What's beautiful to one man is not beautiful to another man. Recently, my favorite matchmaker, Patty, who I think is a beautiful human being, an intelligent woman. I have nothing against her except for I would like to match her. That's my only thing with her. The New York Post wrote an article where she said that men don't want fat chicks. I disagree. I have 150 clients and some men do not want a trophy wife. So all you women who wanted to go to Dos Caminos and have chip sauce and guacamole, now is your time to do it. And there are men, she said that no men want a woman who has red hair or curly hair. Bullshit, okay? It is not true. Maybe that's why she's single, but I will find her a match at the end of the day. But to go back to Michael is, I met a guy in Elio's on 84th and 2nd, and I walked in there, and as you're looking at him, I didn't write on my list, I want the man that I have chemistry with to have no hair on top of his head. And he didn't say, I want the woman that I have chemistry with to have 36 double Ds and have a big mouth and be ADHD. Right? But at the end of the day, when we met and we started talking, it's 6 years later that we're still looking at each other, and there's circles. Like, we're so gaga over him, over being with each other. And believe me, we had to overcome a lot of obstacles. I was living in Florida, he was living in New York. I didn't like his ex-wife. He had to deal with my ex-husband being very close to me, my children, his children. But the foundation is, when you connect with somebody, it's all about love at the end of the day. Now, people come to me, they want to know why they're still single. There's two reasons. Either you're doing something wrong and you're not a good dater because you're listening to somebody who's giving you wrong advice, or you just don't have time. You are living in New York City, and if you have a job in New York City, consider yourself a winner. Period, end of story. You can't survive in this town, so if you're working like Joanne in PR, who's married, I'm just using her as an example, you're working. In order to be successful in the dating and to find the lid to your pot, you have to go out at least twice a week. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's so fucking insane. It's not insane. You have to date at least 8 times a month because you have to connect with somebody. So if you go out 1 time a month and you say, oh, I can't stand these blind dates and dating, you're going to end up empty-handed because you can't just rely on that one person to connect with. There is no matchmaker who can guarantee chemistry. You got to go out and remember that every person is a person of value. So I went out on 100 blind dates until I met Michael. And every blind date I said, I'm so sorry, at the end of the day there's no chemistry there, but that person introduced me to somebody and I just started networking where I had so many people to connect with and so many people who are value as opposed to, so many people, I call them Dan and Debbie Downers, have the wrong attitude when it comes to dating. So there's many reasons why people are still single. You could have unrealistic expectations. You could be a Dan and Debbie Downer. You can listen to your mom, your sister, your best friend, and it's really not what you want. But when you go out there, and people say to me, where do I go? It doesn't matter. I can tell you to go to Per Se. I can tell you to go to Dos Caminos. I can tell you to go to Il Molino's. I can tell you to go to the bar. I have hundreds of places where I have matched my clients and they've ended up marrying. But if you walk in there and you don't have the right tude, you're not going to seal the deal. And what does the right tude mean? Just being open. Hi, how are you? Complimenting somebody. I'm with Michael and we just had dinner. Guy walks in, I'm like, I love your tie. Oh, thank you so much. My wife bought it for me. Okay. You have a great wife. She's got great taste. It doesn't matter. I feel like we're all so sheltered today. Everybody's walking around with their Blackberries and their iTunes, and everybody's saying, okay, and no one's even looking up to say, oh my God, we're alive. We're living in this country. We have soldiers fighting for us to be free in this country. No one's even taking advantage of it. If you just open up your eyes and learn how to flirt with just complimenting somebody. I'm with Michael. I'm not trying to land somebody, but I meet a friend, and then I meet another friend. And I'm like, oh my God, he'd be great for Kathy. Oh my God, this one here would be great for me. It's just opening up yourself and not listening to anybody around you. And one other tip that I have for single women, don't go out with other single women. Everyone's looking at me like, wow, what a freak. But when you are single, why have competition? Why? Especially if she's a pretty friend. Fuck her. So when I was single, I took my best friend Jennifer. She picked me up, I had frizzy hair. I'm like, Jennifer, I'm fat, I'm bloated. I don't want to go out. She said, we're going out. We went to Elio's to have meatballs. And here was Michael. And I said to Jennifer, you're in a healthy relationship. She goes, I don't love my husband that much. I said, well, for tonight, you're in a healthy marriage, bitch. She went right over to Michael, started a conversation with Michael, and Michael and I couldn't keep our eyes, but I was like, I don't give out my number. I'm like, oh my God, Jennifer, if you don't seal the deal for me, tonight you're the matchmaker. But you have to know how to be a good dater, which is why I'm proud of the show. Why am I still single? It's because I take every client, and you're looking at these clients, and yes, they're fucked in the head, because it's TV. VH1 is not going to pick anybody normal. They're going to pick the really, the one who talks about his balls, and the one who's talking with his hands. But at the end of the day, all these clients are my friends, and I really do take pride in my job and helping people. Because the bottom line is that if I can do it, anybody can do it. There is nothing special about me. I was just raised with hardships. And people who are raised with hardships, they have character. And if you fall flat in your face, or you were sexually abused, or you are abused, or you come from a poor family, and you have hardships in your life, all the better. Because you're interesting. And I feel like shows that deal with meeting the 1% that are millionaires, who gives a shit? You could meet a millionaire and he could lose his millions, and at the end of the day, I have plenty of girlfriends who are married to millionaires, and they're living in McMansions, and they're suicidal. So what is really important to you at the end of the day is to connect with somebody for the sake of your mother, father, your best friend, or to connect with somebody because you go to sleep smiling. And that's basically what I try to do. No? And I want to, believe me, any question you want to ask me, because there's nothing that is going to scare me. So if anybody has a question, throw it at me, ask me.